I just built the ultimate assistant that helps you manage your business straight from your phone. Imagine being able to check your schedule, look up customer information, create jobs, and even send them emails, all without touching your screen. In today's video, I'll show you how I built this, but more importantly, you're gonna learn a pattern that helps you add any capability to this agent. Once you learn that, the possibilities are absolutely endless. But first, let's hop into a live demo and see this thing in action. So here we've set up a Telegram bot for a plumbing company called Cooper and Sons Plumbing, and the owner, let's call him Dave, is driving in between jobs and wants to know what jobs he has today. So we're gonna send off a quick voice note to our Telegram bot and see what happens. What do our jobs look like today? So we've sent that message off and let's see what our response is. All right, so look at this. It came back with 3 jobs, the times, exactly what jobs they are, and who's assigned to that job. Something that used to take 5 to 10 minutes calling the office, checking and making sure, or just having to visit your calendar, and who knows, that could be pretty sloppy. But now we have it automatically just through one Telegram agent. Let's go through a couple more examples. For this example, we just had a job that came in and we need to schedule it and assign it to Mike Torres. So what we're gonna do is feed our agent a time, a job description, when the job is, and then who to assign it to. So let's go ahead and send off this voice note. Hey Jarvis, schedule a drain cleaning for tomorrow at 2 p.m. for Mrs. Johnson at 123 North Main Street. Make sure to assign this job to Mike Torres. So we sent it off with all the relevant information. Now it's going to go call on the specific tools, and then we're going to get a response back and check if the appointment was actually created in our database. We got our message back. It says job created successfully. Let's go to our Supabase database and see if that's actually accurate. All right, so here we are in our Supabase database, and we can see that at the bottom here, a new job was created called drain cleaning. It's been scheduled. This is 2 p.m. military time, 123 North Main Street. We didn't give it an estimated cost, so that's 0 right now. But if we go back and look at our customers, Mrs. Johnson is ID number 1, as you saw. And then if we go to our crew, you'll see that Mike Torres is ID number 2. So once we go back to jobs, we'll see that the customer ID is 1 and that the assigned to ID is 2. So we know that it correctly assigned the job to which customer and to which tech. And all this was done just from a voice note sent to Telegram. Pretty cool. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and look up one of our customers' emails and send them an email reminding them of their appointment tomorrow. Hey Jarvis, what is Mrs. Johnson's email? So we're asking for Mrs. Johnson's email, and then we're going to send her an email. We get Mrs. Johnson's email back at mjohnson@email.com. So now let's send her a message. Send Mrs. Johnson an email reminding her of her 2 p.m. appointment tomorrow. So we send that off. Now we're going to wait for the response and actually go check if it sent an email to Mrs. Johnson. Okay, our agent came back, said email sent to Mrs. Johnson at this email confirming her appointment tomorrow, February 10th, 2026 at 2 p.m. Let's hop into our email and see if that actually sent out. Okay, so we can see that in our email, we sent out this message. Hello, Mrs. Johnson. This is Cooper and Sons Plumbing confirming your appointment tomorrow, February 10th, 2026 at 2 p.m. Our crew will arrive to perform the scheduled service. If you need to reschedule, please reply to this email. Thank you, Cooper and Sons Plumbing. So it's pretty cool. We just asked our agent to send out an email and it did so. I think that's pretty sweet. So let's go ahead and see what more this agent can do. For the last example, we just want to find out how many jobs we completed last week, how much money we made, and how many open estimates we still have. Hey Jarvis, how many jobs did we complete last week? How much money did we make? And what open estimates do we still have? So we're going to go ahead and send that off and let's see what Jarvis comes back with. There we go. We got a response back from Jarvis. Last week you completed 8 jobs and earned $8,100. These are 2 open estimates. Patricia Gomez, $12,500, and Dave Thompson, $4,200. Really quick for the last time, let's go check our Supabase and see if that's all accurate. Here we are in our database and we can see that 8 jobs completed for $8,100 in total revenue. And then if we go to our open estimates, we have 2 of them left and the pricing is accurate along with the names. To recap all the examples we just went through, Jarvis, our ultimate assistant, was able to give us daily briefs, manage our jobs, look up customer information, and send them emails. Simply from talking to our phone and using one n8n workflow. Let's dive into how I built this and how by the end of this video, you can have your own personal assistant. Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, I need this for my business, I build systems just like this for all types of trade businesses, ranging from plumbing, HVAC, electrician, you name it. If you want a personal assistant like this, use the link in my description to visit my website and book a discovery call with me today. Really quickly, before hopping into n8n, I wanted to show you guys this diagram and give you a bird's eye view of the architecture of what's happening every single time we make a request to our assistant. This automation always begins by the user sending in either a voice message note or a text message. If the user sends in a voice message, we need to convert that voice message into text before inputting it into our AI agent. If the user sends in a text message, that immediately shoots into our AI agent, which then uses its GPT-5 mini chat model along with a system prompt to decide, and this is where the real work begins, on which tool to call on. Here we have 5 different tools listed that all have different tasks to complete. So for this case, we have today's schedule, which will give us a daily brief of the jobs that we have today, business stats, so if we ask for revenue or the past month, job management to be able to create, update, or send job requests, and customer search to find information about our customers, email, address, phone number, and then to be able to send notifications not only to our team, but to our customers as well. We get all this information from our Supabase database that has our customers, our crew, and our jobs. Those tools then get the relevant information, format a response, send it back to our agent, which then uses its GPT-5 mini model again to format a response to send back to us. The cool thing is that once you understand the pattern, adding any new capabilities is just adding a new tool. You want to check the forecast for any outside jobs that you might have, add a weather tool. You want to check material pricing, add a pricing tool with a database. The pattern is really the same every single time, and that just leads you to endless possibilities. On the back end, we have our Supabase set up with 3 different tables: jobs, customer, crew, and this is our database the agent reads from and writes to these specific tables. You don't have to worry about setting these tables up. As always, I've provided a full 24-page resource document with all the code and SQL queries to set up these tables for yourself. All you need to do is go in here, copy this entire SQL query, paste it into your Supabase, and you'll be all good to go and have the same information that I have. Diving in a little bit deeper on how these tables are set up, just so you guys know exactly where the information is coming from. This is the jobs table, and this is probably our most important table. It has the job ID, the customer ID, the description, the date, the time of the job, the status of the job, who the job is assigned to, address, estimated cost, actual cost, any other notes, and when the job was actually created. So this is really the main part of our table and where we're pulling most of our information from. Then we move on to the customers, and this is just a list of our customers. Call it a mini CRM, and it has all their relevant information. So their ID, their name, their phone number, email, address, and then any other notes that we need to designate to them. And then we have our crew table. This one is just to be able to assign crew members. So we also give them an ID, a name, a phone number, an email. We'll be able to put a Telegram chat ID. So if we ever want to send messages to our employees, we can do that. And then obviously their role and then when they were created. Super simple setup, but I just wanted to go through that so you guys understand when we're querying and asking our agent questions, where it's getting all the information from and what specific table. Now that I'm done rambling, let's hop into n8n and dive deep into how this agent works and how you can set it up for yourself. All right, so here we are in our n8n instance, and believe it or not, this is the entire workflow. We're gonna go through it node by node to show you how I've set it up. We're gonna go through some of the executions from the demo to see how the data flows through the entire workflow and how the tools call each other. And then finally, we're gonna add a tool to this and show you another capability live. So make sure you stay to the end. Everything starts with the Telegram trigger. We're listening for messages here. Specifically, we want to catch voice notes, but we also want to have the option to catch texts. When we send the message, the trigger receives a text file or an audio file, and then it gives us back a chat ID, a file ID, and some metadata about the message. We then need to decide if we've received a text file or a voice note. To do that, we need to set up an if node, and from the incoming data, we need to check if our Telegram trigger sent in a voice message. If this JSON field is not empty, that means we've sent in a voice message, and we need to send it through the true branch to begin downloading the file. If this JSON field is empty, we know that we've sent in a text message, and then we need to send it through to our AI agent. For this case, let's say we sent in a voice message, so now we're going to go in and download the file. For this, we'll use an HTTP request node to get the actual audio file from Telegram. We will call the Telegram API, get the file path, then download the binary data, which is what we do next. In order to set this up, you'll need to use this URL endpoint. I'll open this up, but you'll need to copy and paste your bot token. You guys don't try this one because it'll be deleted by then, but copy this exact same thing and then replace everything after bot with your bot token. You don't need any authentication for this. And then for the query parameters, you just need to put in file underscore ID and then drag this value from under voice right here, drag this file into here, and then you'll be all good to go. Once we get the file ID, we then need to go ahead and download the actual voice note. Using another HTTP request node to download the binary data from the file path that we now have, we're going to use a get method. This is the URL endpoint that we're going to be using. Again, make sure you use your bot token. Then you're going to drag at the end of this URL, you're going to drag this file path into there. I'll just show you how that works right now, but then I'm just going to delete that. Once you have that, you don't need any authentication once again, and then you're going to make sure that the response format is file and that the output in field is data. Now we're going to go ahead and actually transcribe this audio file using OpenAI's Whisper model. Here's what it gets pretty cool. We take the audio file that we just downloaded and we send it here to be transcribed. We pass in binary data from the audio and it gives us back text, which we feed directly to our AI agent. In order to set this up, we're going to connect our OpenAI credential. We're going to select audio as the resource. The operation will be transcribe a recording, and then the input data field name will be data because that's what our output field was in the previous node. What's nice about this is that Whisper handles background noise really well. So let's say you are actually driving in the car with the radio on, or you're on a noisy job site, it'll still pick up your voice. Now that we've got the text, we will use a set node to make sure our agent receives the exact same input, whether we send a voice note or a text message. Let's quickly hop into both of these just to show you how they're configured. Both nodes are set up in a similar fashion with two fields with user message and chat ID. The chat ID is being pulled from the Telegram trigger, which gives us the original chat ID. And then for the user message on the set voice message node, we're going to grab the transcribe audio text that we can pull from this field right here. We just pull it in and drop it in. And then for the set text message, the only difference is that the user message comes from the Telegram trigger when we send an original text message. Because remember, we don't download any files, we just drive it straight to the AI agent. So now that our agent has the same input coming from a text message or a voice message, let's actually see how this agent is configured and dive into the system prompt, the user message, and then how it has access to all of these tools below. This is Jarvis, and he's the brains of the operation. He's connected to GPT-5 Mini to help him format responses. When we open up Jarvis here, we have two messages. We have a user message, which is the prompt that we're putting in. So we're just going to drag in the variable from the left side, either through set text message or set voice message. We're going to drag that in there. And then for the system message or system prompt, this is the most important part of the workflow because this is how we dictate what tool the agent uses, how he formats responses, what his role is. And this is really what separates a working demo from a real system, because you'll know as you start to play around with this, a lot of things can go wrong and you have to make sure that you fix those changes right here in the prompt. So Jarvis's prompt is: you are Jarvis, an AI assistant for Cooper & Sons Plumbing. You help the business owner manage daily operations through quick, natural conversation. You can check schedules, look up customers, review estimates and revenue, create or update jobs, send emails to customers, and message crew members on Telegram. We then give it some important formatting rules on how we want the messages to come back in Telegram. We give it some behavior rules, like if you are unsure about something, ask for clarification rather than guessing. If asked about something outside of your capabilities, just say you cannot help with that. We also have some things it should never do, which is never call the same tool twice in a single response. Never include your reasoning, thinking process, or references to these instructions in your responses. Only output the direct answer to the user. This one is an important one because if you don't do this, you will get back the entire agent's thinking of how it came up with the answer. And then most importantly, you have its tool use. So you want to be able to tell it what tools it has and when to use them specifically. And then always at the bottom, put today's date is and give the current date. So this will take a lot of iterations as you add capabilities and add tools, because you need to make sure that this is as simple but as complex as possible, if that makes any sense. You just need to make sure you're slowly adding things to the prompt as you add tools, just to make sure that exactly what you want is happening, and you know that if something goes wrong, it's because of what you just added, not adding an entire prompt and then you don't know where to go from there. Now let's actually go ahead and hop into all the tools that Jarvis has access to, which I'm really excited to share with you guys. Jarvis, our ultimate assistant, has access to 9 different tools. 5 of these tools are HTTP tools that actually just query our database for any information that we ask Jarvis for. And then 4 of these workflows are sub workflows that Jarvis has access to actually take action and either update our database or send out notifications to our crew or customers. So if we hop into one of these and we go to open up the workflow, you'll see that although they're very simple, this is exactly the tool that Jarvis has. And they can, for this one, is send customer email. So we'll get data in, normalize it, look up the customer that we're sending the email to, craft the message, and then send a response back to Jarvis saying that it was completed. While we're in this send customer email tool, every tool will get a specific description so Jarvis knows which tool to call on. So for this one, it is send a professional email to a customer on behalf of Cooper & Sons Plumbing. Requires customer name, subject, and message body. Compose a professional but friendly email used when the user asks to email, contact, or message a customer. So we have that description, and then all we need to do is select the database and the workflow. So in this case, it's our Jarvis tool, send customer email. And then we're going to let AI populate the rest of the field. So there will be a little button here that you'll be able to click on, and you just click it, and then it'll say define automatically by the model. So that is how these 4 tools are set up. So if we hop into the crew message, we can see that it says send a Telegram message to a crew member, requires crew member name and message, used when the user asks to message, notify, text, or send something to a team member or technician. And then also same thing for the create job. So the pattern is the exact same, right guys? So in this one, I'll just flip it to expression, create a new job and add it to the schedule. It requires customer name, job description, address, date, time. You guys know the deal. And then obviously we set out some fields and we define them automatically by the model. And then just make sure that when you define those fields in the sub execution or the sub workflow, if you open this up, you will have to put in a schema. So you'll put the customer name, job description, and that'll have to match on both sides in order for this to work. Our HTTP tools are set up specifically to be able to query our database, and they're all set up in a similar fashion by giving it a description, giving a URL endpoint, and then setting up our header authentication. So for this example, for the get business stats, we are getting overall business performance statistics, including jobs completed this week, last week, and this month, revenue this week, last week, and this month, upcoming scheduled jobs, open estimates, used when the user asks about overall business performance, stats, how things are going, or comparisons to last week. So this is just a broad tool that gives us information about our whole business. And then if we hop into, let's say, search customers, this one is super simple. We have a similar URL endpoint, except we're just pulling in from the AI the customer name. And then we are, for the description, we are just searching for a customer name, return their full contact info, name, phone, email address, and notes, requires customer name parameter, used when the user asks for customer information, phone numbers, addresses, or any customer details. So these are all simple setups. Only thing we're changing is the description and the end of the endpoint URL. And then we're able to query our entire database just from these 5 tools. And then if we added something else to our database, like another table, we would just add another tool, set the description, set the correct endpoint, and give it our generic header auth, and we're good to go. Now that we've gone over all our tools, the only thing we have left to do is actually send the message back to Telegram. Make sure you connect the correct credentials, so our Cooper Sons API, message as the resource, send message as the operation, grab the chat ID from the Telegram trigger, and then just drag in the output from our Jarvis agent, and then execute the step, and your message will go right back to your Telegram chat, and that's the complete workflow. If you're looking to start learning automation or even build your own business with automation, I highly recommend that you join my friend Nate's School Community AI Automation Society Plus. You'll get access to a ton of courses ranging from how to start with n8n, an n8n masterclass, and even all the way up to starting your own AI agency. Nate also just recently dropped a subs to sales course that teaches you how to build your own brand using YouTube. This community is where I started and where I went from knowing absolutely nothing about automation to being able to build an ultimate assistant just like this. Use the link in my description, join today, and I hope to see you guys in there soon. Now that you guys have seen how I've built this and we went through it node by node, I wanted to quickly go through one of the executions from the demo to show you exactly how the data flows from beginning to end of workflow. So we sent in a voice message in Telegram, and just to show you that it was a voice message, this voice metadata is filled out and we have a voice message output. So now we know that it is not empty because we see all this output here. So went up the true branch, we got the file path, we downloaded it, transcribed the audio. Our output was, hey Jarvis, how many jobs did we complete last week? How much money did we make, and what open estimates do we still have? So we set that voice message as a user message with the chat ID. We fed that into Jarvis, where Jarvis got the user message and then used his brain to call on the get business stats tool. And we respond, and our response was here, the jobs that we had, revenue last week, revenue this month. And then if we go into our open estimates, we see that we got two open estimates, was job ID 17 and 16. And we sent both those replies back to Jarvis, and Jarvis was able to create this output using his GPT-5 mini model, which was last week you completed 8 jobs and earned 8,100 in revenue. There are 2 open estimates, Patricia Gomez and Dave Thompson. So we take that output, sent it to Telegram, which is exactly what we got. I just want to show you one of these sub executions as well. So if we hop into one of these, here we are. So this is one of the sub execution workflows. So right here, it said email sent to Miss Johnson at missjohnson@email.com. The subject was appointment reminder for tomorrow at 2 p.m. So if we go ahead and we view the sub execution, we'll open this up. So our agent called on this workflow. It executed the trigger. So we got the message body, the subject, and the customer name. So Mrs. Johnson, appointment reminder, and then the message body. We normalized that data to get 3 fields. We looked up the customer, which was Mrs. Johnson, and all of her information. We sent her an email, and then we sent a response back to our agent, which was email sent to Mrs. Johnson, appointment reminder for tomorrow at 2 p.m. Once that email was sent, Jarvis got a notification back, and then it said the exact same thing, email sent to Mrs. Johnson, confirming her appointment tomorrow, February 10th, 2026 at 2 p.m., which is the exact message that we sent off to Telegram. So that's exactly how everything flows through when we send in a voice message. And now we're going to go ahead live and add a new capability to this agent, test it out so you can see how this pattern works. So let's get into that. Okay, so I want to give Jarvis the capability to add a customer into our database directly from my phone. So what we're going to do here is grab our first node, which is our execute sub workflow trigger. We are going to define using fields below, and then we're going to add 4 different fields here, and they will be customer name, their phone number, email, and address. And for the sake of this example, I'm going to copy and paste over a quick JSON so we can just get through this workflow and execute it node by node so you guys see what's happening. So we'll enter this in, we'll pin this data, and now we're going to set up our code node, which will just separate all the fields that we get, because sometimes the agent will send in one big query and we actually need to split that up. It's not all the time, but this is more just of a safety net than a necessary thing. So we're going to grab that. We're going to paste in this code. We'll execute this step, and then you'll see we get 4 different fields here: customer name, phone, email, and the address. We're then going to insert that directly into our Supabase. So we're going to grab a Supabase node. We're going to grab a create a row. Make sure we have the correct credential selected. Row, create, table will be customers, and then define below each column. We are going to grab the field name, which will be name. Then we'll drag this in, and then we're going to do that for the rest of them. So we'll grab the phone, we'll drag it in. We will grab the email, drag it in from here. And then finally, we'll grab the address as well, drag it in here. Click on execute step. It will say that it executed, fill out the fields. We'll go to our Supabase really quick, refresh the page, and we will see Mr. Chen, hopefully. Yep, here we go. ID number 10, Robert Chen, phone number, email, Elm Street is his address. And then the final step is to just return the confirmation. So we're going to do a quick set node. We will name it as response. And then we're going to quickly copy and paste over this field. But the only thing we need to change is this one, and we just delete it back here, and it'll be json.name. So then this is what we're going to send the AI agent back, that customer added Robert Chen phone number at this email, and that's what our AI agent will get back. So we can go ahead and click on that, and that's the whole entire tool, right? So now we actually need to go into our agent and connect this tool, give it a description, and then test it out and see if Jarvis can do it. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, so here we are back with Jarvis, and the main thing that I forgot to do earlier is actually publish that workflow. So go ahead back into that workflow that we just created, publish it so we can actually call on it from Jarvis. Then we're going to go here into tools. We're going to click on call n8n workflow. We're going to name the tool add_customer. We're going to copy and paste over a description here that tells us this tool is to add a new customer to the database, requires the customer name, full name, phone number, email, address, and then we use when the user wants to add, create, or register a new customer. Once we have that, all we need to do is select the right tool, which is our add a customer tool. And then for this, all you need to do is let the model define these parameters. Once that's done, we can send it off. We just need to update the system prompt, which we will grab from our resource document. We'll open this up. We'll go down here, and we're going to just add this tool, which says add, create, register a new customer. And it says add_customer, pointing to that tool. Once we have that, we're pretty much good to go here. So now we're going to publish this workflow, publish it. And then we're going to go into Telegram now and actually send off add a customer and see if everything worked. All right. So I want you guys to see this live. So I'm going to go ahead and click on execute workflow. Our Telegram is listening now. And we're going to send off this message which says add a new customer, Robert Chen, his phone number, email, and 456 Elm Street. Let's go ahead and send that off. We'll see that the workflow begins to execute. Jarvis is checking on which tool to search. He's going to search the add customer tool. He's going to complete that, get a response back, and then send it back to us via Telegram, which we get, got it, Robert Chen at 456 Elm Street has been added. Let's go check our Supabase just to make sure that this is accurate. So here we are in Supabase, and we can see that Robert Chen, now this is ID number 10 or 11 because we added him twice. So our system's on 11 now, skip 2 numbers because we deleted it for testing. But now we know that Robert Chen was added again. He's got no notes, but we can add those notes in. Let's just put in, he is a cool dude. Throw that in there for Robert Chen. And then, yeah, so now we know that we were able to create a tool. You guys saw the pattern of how it works, how we're able to connect it to our agent, and that it actually works right away. So overall, very cool system. You guys can plug and play and do whatever you guys want to do, add any capability, just add the new tool and then update the system prompt. AI has really brought us to the age where you can literally run your business with your voice and through your phone. I built this specifically for a plumbing business, but it can be tailored to any business. And hopefully if you've made it this far in the video, you've already started building yours. As always, if you've gotten any value from this video, drop a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below on what you'd like to see me build next. I'm posting new automations every single Tuesday and keeping you up to date with news every single Friday. Thank you for making it this far, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, if you're still here, something I like to do at the end of all my videos is pray for you guys, my audience, because I love you guys and I appreciate you guys watching this far in the video. If this makes you uncomfortable, please click off and I'll see you guys in the next one. But nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and pray for you guys. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you so much for the person on the other side of the screen taking time out of their day to watch this video. Lord, I want to pray a blessing over their business. Lord, I pray that you give them wisdom as they grow and serve their customers. Lord, I just pray that as they build these tools out, that they save them time, they provide them less stress, more time with their families, and pure enjoyment to do the thing that they love to do. Lord, I want to bless their hands, their hustle, and it is in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Now go have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.